Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Activate. Stream. Activate. There we go. So, I think I finally gotten to the point where I can just start a stream without having to, like, triple check everything. So, I should be able to just jump into things. Let's just start playing. Oh, right. I think that's what I want to do with streams, though, is instead of just playing the game for a bit and then being like, now we'll start listening to a thing. I think I'll start listening to things because there's a bunch of them, and I want to make the stream shorter instead of doing a bunch of 2 to 4 hour streams where I listen to everything. Um, I have finished Into the Radius 1.0, which means there's nothing left for me to do except that I was going to do the kill everything run. It's sort of like just an intentional challenge run with rules that I'm making up myself. And, oh, already. Hello. Doodle Squatch. Wait, where's it good?
Amazing.
Here we go. And go.
Speaking of and go, my save one, basically, I got to the end, and it just, the end point of the game, it was, the final save, just in front of Katya, where, again, it gives you the things, like you can shoot Katya or the representation of the evil superconsciousness, which will not actually do anything. It will free Katya into the world, with you as the sacrifice, trapping you in the radius. Assuming maybe the radius is real, but you're just an amalgamation of, you're a fabricated life form. I guess, I don't know. I have no idea and again, don't really care about, like, when the story is kind of vague and nebulous and a little ambiguous with the ending. I'm like, whatever, I just had a good time. But I remembered if you shoot yourself at the end of the game, it spits you back out at the home base, but it restarts the entire game. You don't get anything. And that's in 1.0. In 2.0, you get the grail and you get that very similar ending with slightly re-recorded audio. And then it will put you back in your home base with all the stuff you had, and then you can actually use the anomaly or the artifact detector on the home base computer, and it will make the grail appear, which is what I have. I kept it on top of my computer as a nice decoration, even though it sells for like $10,000 in the game. But anyways, so I'm like, oh yeah, I can reset the game in 1.0 if I shoot myself, right? So I do that, and it just wipes out. It spits me back at home base, but with nothing. No money, none of the guns I had. So I'm going to just go to this hex-edited save file. It's a shame because I had like $30,000, which really was enough to do what I wanted, but I'm just going to go with $900,000. And I guess the most recent save, which I have no idea. 4 hours into the game, I assume that there's main quests I could do, which I am going to not do any of. In fact, I want to make sure... Oh, look at this. I want to make sure that I am not having any quests. In fact, regen artifact. Is this a... Ah, boy. You know what I want to do? Oh no, failed. Classified information is just... Okay, yeah, the motor pool, that one. But what I'm going to do is nothing. What do I have on me? Nothing? Okay. Well, I can take the good old M4. I miss you, M4. But here's the thing. The M4 was my main in the 2.0 Into the Radius. So instead of doing that... Okay, what's in here? Dragunov. What? Okay. So I am going to still try this goofy attempt at a run, but first thing I'm going to have to do, since I have all the money in the world, I'm going to have to set up my supply route. So I'm going to have to take stuff to this one and this one at least, and I should be able to take stuff from this one to this one. That means cleaning supplies, which I'm going to have to purchase and carry. And what do I have on me? The good old RoboCop gun. Sort of RoboCop gun. What is all this crap? Whatever. Anyway, so I'm planning to do that while listening to stream stuff. Hello. Yarg. So, I'm going to take... Well, you know what? Let me check the settings. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just start listening to the thing. And again, if this whole show is short, that'll be good. But there were a few videos I wanted. This might still be a couple hours long. I want to just do a video where I watch some of the stuff. And there were actually a bunch of videos that I wanted to listen to that I will save for later. Tomorrow I wanted to actually record a bunch of upcoming Shitty Webcomics Weekly episodes with my brother. Because we have episodes recorded going through, I think, January, which we recorded all the way back in July, I believe. Just so we had a nice cushion of videos that we could just have scheduled and be like, oh, there. But now, starting to run out, so I want to make sure that we're just, we have a nice weekly schedule of just some fun stuff. And they're short videos, so, that's no problem. So here's what I'm going to do is, because I plan to pick apart the videos as much as I want. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be saying that, I want to just play through this. Instead of doing that, ever again, I'm going to focus as much as I want on any video, because it's about the analysis of the video itself and the clips, because that's the one thing that nobody else seems to do. And I've been listening to a bunch of the recent clips, and a lot of them make, they have interesting things that nobody else is able to talk about. In fact, there's Kino Casino episodes, very interestingly enough, that I listened to. There's like a big over hour-long one, and they said some really interesting sort of accidentally self-incriminating things on there, and I wanted to play that. But still, for now, so here, I'm going to play... This first one is just a clip of, again, that one lawyer that Rekieta yelled at. There's a 30-second clip. I'll probably just play that, and then there's a 20-minute clip after that was full of I didn't listen to the whole thing. There was just a lot of interesting things to talk about.
Mr. Speedy for 199, thank you, is saying, thoughts on Nick's wet brain? I...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on. But yeah, something's
weird.
Changed. I just don't know what. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Don't pretend to be one. Well, I do pretend to be one because I have a Juris Doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor. But something's up. I just don't know what it is. Adam says Arnold brain's wet. Google it. It's a specific thing.
Hydrocephalus.
My life has been a weird roller coaster. It's been
weird.
To be honest, my life has been a weird roller coaster for like 9 months.
Weird.
Really.
Is it weird though?
Some days it's great. Some days it's fucking frustrating and weird.
There we go.
The internet is like this miasma background effect. I don't want to point out.
This is Into the Radius, by the way.
I don't want to paint it as the internet is like the main thing. The internet is this
weird
nudge.
Oh.
On your real life.
Oh.
The internet is a nudge on your real life. Your real
is it
life
really,
is
really great
happens,
for porn?
And there's nothing you do about it. The internet is a pretend thing that happens. But the internet has
in
influence
fact,
on your real life.
It never happened.
It cannot control it, but it can nudge it. It can lean it in one direction or the other. And the past 9 months have been this roller coaster of nudging in one direction or another with various people in my real life. And it's like, well, you know me, though. Like, you know me. And so some things are negative, some things are positive. People say good and bad things on the internet, and then people in real life say good or bad things, and they react to them in certain ways. and then you're, you know,
Yeah, hold
the
on,
good
right off
people
the
in your
bat.
life, they know
Hold
you,
on a
and they kind of
second.
ignore
Oh.
the crazier stuff on the internet.
Here's what
'cause they
it
go,
really sounds like is that he was confronted by friends or family, or perhaps even people at church in real life. What am I doing? But people in church in real life were like, I saw this clip of you talking about this. What the hell's going on? Are you really, you know, you're telling us you're a Christian. You're telling us this and that. Are you serious about that? Or are you just telling us what we want to hear? Of course, Rekieta's entire approach is going to be like, no, what? No. Okay, these are ready. I can do this. Nope. I'm going to have to bring a bunch more of these out. In fact, I should right now. In fact, in double fact, if I'm going to, yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm going to have to bring ammo, and I'm going to have to fill those up. Okay. This is sort of a fresh start, but at least I got money. Anyways, all right.
wait, what about this? And you go, you know me. Is that real? Like, do you honestly think
Yes.
I have time for this? Do you honestly think I do this?
Yes.
And most of them, no, obviously. And I have lost.
He's telling people this, like, it hasn't affected my life at all. What this really blatantly comes off as, is Nick trying to convince everyone. It's what what this really sounds like. It's not even Nick trying to convince people, but a guilty person who got caught doing something, trying to. If you've ever heard an actual guilty person who has actually been caught dead to rights on something, this is what they sound like. They sound like Nick does right now, where they are constantly making excuses and saying, it's really bizarre, guys. I don't know why people are saying this stuff. That's happened more times than anyone seems to be able to count. Do I even want to carry that? I don't know. You know what I should carry? You know what I should get instead is the Scar. The Scar's better. Although this is actually really good. But you know what? The Scar is apparently like the best gun in the entire game. Oh, okay. I think I'll buy one. Anyways.
I want to be very clear. I've lost 0 friends. I've had 0 like
he doesn't care, guys.
Disconnections or
doesn't even care
from the internet. Things that
this is also that's part of the excuses. The sort of PR move on his part is this hasn't even affected me personally. This has had no effect on me. Everything's fine. It's like the 2008 economic crash, the housing market bubble, with all the people who are like, everything's fine. Nothing's going to go wrong. Don't stop being paranoid. You're being a conspiracy theorist, all that kind of stuff. Convincing everyone that nothing was going wrong just so that they didn't come off looking as bad. That was the important part to them. And that is exactly what Nick sounds like this is the important part. It's for the exact same reasons.
Things that you would expect people in your life to maybe question, because the internet's weird. And it comes up with
guys.
Some crazy stuff.
Weird.
You'd think maybe the people in your life would go like, oh, well, that. They actually haven't ever done that.
Because it's weird.
Ever done that. Duck Dangerously says, I just assume all the rumors are true and I don't care. For the purposes of the internet, rumors are always true. You can't fight them. You can't overturn them. There's no amount of evidence you can provide. There's no amount of thing you can say to make a rumor untrue. People either believe it or disbelieve it. So you just go ahead and say, well, they're all true. It's fine. But the people in your life.
That's another thing is when they're like, there's no point in even denying it. It's like, doesn't it kind of just make it look that much more incriminating? And shouldn't it, ultimately? How many do these hold? Isn't it 30 or is it 20? It's 20. You know what? That's perfect. That's another thing. The fucking boxes don't hold consistent amounts in this version of the game either. There we go. So, I need to keep all the boxes. I need to get more boxes. Okay.
In your life who are not internet people, but they know you. You know, occasionally they'll come across like a rumor or thing.
Again,
And they may ask you about it.
this is what he's really trying to damage control for, is people in real life have found out about the stuff that people are saying on the internet. The fucking hedonism too. Not just that they're saying it, most likely they have found the evidence proving that it's real. And he knows he can't deny it, but all Nick can say is, you know me, you know that stuff's not real. And they're like, okay. Which is, again, what a person who is caught lying does every time, is that they will tell you to judge me on my reputation, not on the evidence, which is, again, it's very important to point out, every person who has ever been guilty of something has said that, without exception. These things. Here, in fact. I'm hoping this is a shorter stream. It should be.
I want to be very clear about this. Most of them don't ask you about it. They don't know. They don't care. But even if they do, you go, well, you know who I am.
They don't even care,
you
guys.
Actually know me. You know,
and why should they care?
You know, I laugh. And
see, again, it's about reputation. It's about status.
Sex toy or religious talk, you can't have both. You absolutely can.
Yeah, see, his own fans are trying to tell him, Nick, this isn't true. What you're saying, his own fans are sort of coming to a very rude awakening of what it looks like when somebody they want to believe would never make excuses is making excuses in front of them, and they're trying to comprehend. Their Untermensch mind tries to comprehend what they are perceiving, and they're trying not to perceive it, but they also can't really help it. I need at least another couple mags of that, don't I? You know what? No, I don't. If I just clean the ones I got. Anyways. Yeah.
It's such a weird thing. First of all.
Weird, guys.
Sex and
Can
sex
it stop
toys
being weird?
In the context of a marriage are not anti-religious or anti-faith in any way.
Are they anti-weird?
Like stodgy people and fucking weirdos who get so
weirdos
wound
got
up
them
about that. Like all of my stories, all of my silliness, they're all in context of being exclusive, and being monogamous with lady rackets. And people that have tried to make.
For anyone who hasn't caught on to the joke, I don't know how it's not possible yet, but if you haven't caught on to the joke yet, the joke is that Nick Rekieta describes everything that he doesn't like people noticing as just the word weird. It's a crutch, but the thing is, it's not just Nick. That it's actually been going on. There's sort of a hive mind within basically the community that Nick is around, where the worst thing you can be in the history, worse than being a pedophile even, is being weird or being a detractor. It's the thing that makes them the most angry is the idea that somebody somewhere is being a detractor or weird or a weird detractor. It is worse to them than actual child abuse happening and being perpetrated by people they personally know and are choosing to overlook because it would be a detriment to their public image, as usual. You know, that's how it always has been for all YouTubers. That's how it's been for the SJWs going back for decades, you know, as we had revealed, before any of these YouTubers, before Nick Rekieta or any of the other people affiliated with Nick Rekieta had ever been aware of SJW or social justice as a term. We were documenting the behavior and the hypocrisies of the SJWs, of course. As even Nick himself was personally made aware of years ago, back in 2018, and I know that because I was the person to tell him, and that was the thing is that he apparently blocked it out of his memory, like some kind of sexual trauma. Something. Why did he do that? Why did he choose to do that? I don't know. It's not really my my situation. It's not really. I'm not really involved. Like, all I can do is just, tell people what is, and it's not really my choice if they choose to accept or understand or comprehend it or not. To notice or perceive, in other words. Is that a shotgun? Just like, that's right, I left some fucking goofy stuff on. In fact, I think I streamed that a while ago. That's okay. Here, let me just...
that into something it isn't, and I don't know what to tell them. But it's just not. It's not a thing. So like, the reason I talked about it last year mostly is because I wanted to help people.
He's trying to help,
I wanted
guys.
to help people.
He's
get
trying to
away
help
from
the
their
weirdos.
barriers. And there's so many people online talking about marriage as this prison. This prison of and they talk about it in a positive way as a prison sometimes, but
again, here's something Nick doesn't know anything about.
Be your fun-loving self. You no longer get to explore anything. You no longer get to do anything.
Here again, the excuse of somebody who is being caught. He's trying to go into his rationalization for why he's been telling all these stories of him and his wife doing drugs, going to sex clubs. And again, this isn't an interpretation. This isn't like the weirdos got it wrong. This is stuff that he himself is on video saying. This is really why he hates any clip channel, any clips at all, the illicit clips. This is originally why he was so angry at me years ago, because I had noticed his behavior being the opposite of what he was pretending it was, which that is actually pretty weird.
Marriage is this opportunity to do things with your partner, to explore with your best friend or your best partner, this part of your lives that normally is kind of stilted and like people who go out and pick up strangers or have one night stands, you never have the level of relationship and intimacy that can build on the physical carnality of a sexual relationship. Your partner can.
Again, all of this sounds like a guy who got caught trying to explain to people, no, it's not what you think, and then trying to quickly come up with a story of what he wants you to think, instead of, who are you going to believe, Nick Rekieta or your lying eyes?
That's what a marriage brings you, this opportunity to have trust and fidelity with a person, to also then explore like all this silly stuff. And as long as you do it within your moral boundaries.
See, it's not degenerate. It's silly.
You're with each other. There's consent. There's love. There's affirmation. All those great things.
Oh,
that really
they're
build
great.
out a relationship. And they are all great.
See,
make no mistake.
Not degenerate.
Like, you can go do the craziest shit on the planet because you're monogamous, because you are honoring your relationship and honoring your partner. Like, you go explore it and have fun. And I talked about that to try. See,
you anti-fun prudes just don't appreciate. He's having fun. He doesn't care.
If you're going to be like red pill or whatever, you can't do.
This is another thing.
You have to have this very limited view of sex, sexuality, and relationship.
There's another thing that got way under Rekieta's skin is red pill guys on YouTube or whatever who noticed Rekieta's behavior and were like, what the fuck is with this? What's Rekieta's saying all this. Rekieta made us believe that he was like this. But then what's he doing at Hedonism? Was he doing at a club called Gay 90s? What does that stuff even mean? So, Rekieta has a very big problem with the red pill or what he perceives to be the red pill. Because another thing that's, he doesn't really know, of course. I'll put the food up here. There. What? Oh, no. Okay, that's okay. And then food, yeah. In fact, I should have brought more, but whatever. Why don't I just hmm. I can't even see. Why am I doing that?
It involves you marrying a young girl, pumping 10 conservative babies into her, and being a chat online about it, which is not how life is going to work for most people. Even if that's your goal, it's not going to work out that way. I'm sorry.
Again, that's not what the red pill is. He's about to go into a bunch of stuff again that he has no clue about, but regarding the red pill or MGTOW or pickup artists or whatever aspect that he thinks he understands because he got married basically to the first girlfriend he ever had and thinks therefore he is an expert on marriage, not realizing that in reality all of those guys, all of the red pill guys, the MGTOW guys will tell you what Rekieta apparently thinks about marriage is if you've been married for 20 years, then divorce somehow is just magically right off the table. Divorce somehow just doesn't exist anymore. And he is, his proof of that is that he hasn't gotten divorced. That's something that's very Cape Cuck. Is this mindset, which usually is really, really stupid. You know how it is with mindsets. They're dumb. Let's kind of, yeah, you know what? This should be okay. In fact, take a couple of these. Oh wait, I gotta fill this one too. And this and what am I? Okay, hold on. Just play this while I'm trying to
you're
organize.
Going to be confronted with several realities. That was my mom.
You're going to be confronted with
people got really fucking mad.
They got mad at him.
Like, guys, I'm trying to tell you how you
Rekieta didn't get mad. He doesn't care.
Life and relationship
it's weird
with a person, specifically with a person. And for me, it was a person I've been married to for
as opposed to with an animal.
Years. Now it's 19 years, and like we have so much more life to deal with. We have so much more of each other to learn about, unlearn, and relearn.
Wow.
These are things I want to talk about because no one else is.
Many other people
no
were.
One
it's
else
just that
talk about
it was a marketable
no one else
gimmick.
Will be honest about relationships. They all want to like delineate it into hoes versus saints that you marry. They all want to delineate it into these like arbitrary contraptions like body count or whatever. And they want to ignore the practicalities of life, which says you have no idea who you're going to meet, why you're going to meet them, what's going to make you guys become compatible or become partners.
Something Rekieta doesn't understand because his entire view is based off of, like, I know because I married the first girl who found out that I had a trust fund, which is basically what it all boils down to. She found out he had a trust fund, and she's like, I'm in love forever, and he believed it. And it's entirely possible that she even believed it because, that's how it turns out sometimes. But there are, stories, adventures, perhaps you could say, of guys who were married for 49 years, only to have it end in divorce where she says out of nowhere that he actually raped her and was abusive and she wants custody of the kids because that means she gets more money and all that kind of stuff. And so, Rekieta, is the kind of guy who's like, no, that's not going to happen to me. I'm not that kind of person. She's not that kind of person. It's not possible. While the entire point of MGTOW is it doesn't matter who you think you are or what you think you understand about marriage and divorce and frivorce and so on. But the most traditionalist man, like fucking, you're not, better off. When I say better off, you're just best listening to someone like Dalrock, who has a better understanding of this. Or there's Barbarossa, I remember, but I think he retired from making YouTube videos, but that doesn't mean you can't go find them and listen to them. Stardusk or Thinking Ape. That's, I think, his YouTube channel is just called Thinking Ape. And again, he's he knows, and he talks about this constantly, and he tells you, the thing about Stardust especially, and especially lately, is that he tells you that this whole guruism, which is what Rekieta is Rekieta is like a soft guru who, tries to soft sell you on the idea that he's not a guru. He's just a regular guy who knows what he's talking about because he's been married for almost 20 years. Basically trying to sell you on the idea that no, you can't, if you get divorced, it's either something you did wrong or you picked the wrong woman, and that it's only going to happen, somewhat immediately, or, something's going to go wrong. And that, it's the idea that you would get divorced after 20 or 30 years is just not even an idea, and why are you thinking about it? I mean, Rekieta, I don't think he even talks about that because he has no frame of understanding about that, but also doesn't really talk to anyone real who has an experience with that. He just talks about what you want to hear. He tells you that loving monogamous relationships are real, and that degenerate relationships aren't real, and that he's not in one, but then also, interestingly enough, while he was on all sorts of drugs recently, suddenly, it didn't, he was telling all those stories, and then he's like, you guys missed the point of those stories, when really Rekieta is the one who missed the point of himself telling those stories to his own audience. And people don't want to, really accept that Rekieta is, people who defend Rekieta are going to be like, well, no, Rekieta's not a degenerate. He's just a married guy. He's monogamous, though. He says so. It's what it's always been about, is believing the e-celeb. It's not about actually noticing the behavior or having any understanding or honesty of what that behavior always entails. People are almost incapable of deducing anything anymore, but they've always especially been incapable of deducing stuff when it comes to status. Status has always been the key. That's kind of the most important part of all this, is that status will lead people to just not talking about things that are real. It doesn't matter how real it is, as long as they don't want it to be real. That was here. Continuing, though.
I stopped talking about it a lot because it made people uncomfortable or whatever.
See, again, it's their fault. It's the people's fault, not his fault.
I think talking about it is important, personally. I think it's critical. And I think that churches are very dishonest.
It's the church's fault now. Churches are weird now.
Relationships, because they don't give permission to people to have fun. In the fear that they'll take that out.
He just wants to have fun, guys.
That's a bad fear for churches to have, but that's
those anti-fun churches
treat it. But again,
they're against doing drugs and going to gay 90s dungeons.
I largely removed it from the main show. Some people who have flipped this channel,
this part's really good,
have tried to frame shit from locals, where I talk with my community.
He means Alyssa Clips
in an open way about who I am. They've tried to just go ahead and slip that in as if that's the main show, or as if that's part of the YouTube show, when it has not been.
This right here is massively delusional by Rekieta. What he is saying here, not essentially saying, what he's openly saying, what he's accidentally admitting to, because again, the whole concept of people telling on themselves, it's constant. But Rekieta is telling people that, the clippers are clipping stuff behind his paywall, therefore it's not accurate. They're the ones who are wrong. Alyssa Clips is wrong. She is wrong because she willingly took stuff that was behind a paywall and presented it as if it was normal. So it's like, There we go. In fact, wait. But yeah, it's like it's her fault, essentially. Again, the blame is not with Rekieta. The blame is with people paying attention to stuff that he put behind a paywall. And you know, how dare they? First of all, how dare they? That light just like that. But that's one of the funniest parts too, is that Rekieta is practically traumatized. That stuff that he didn't want. He wants to act like his behavior is separate if it's behind a paywall. It doesn't count if it's on locals and you had to pay money to see it. And that, of course, especially bothers him. Because he doesn't want people to see that, and he doesn't want the main YouTube channel, the wine moms who actually believe that Rekieta is a Christian. And let's not forget, people thought that Trump was a Christian. And I can understand wanting to think that, but you are legitimately delusional if you thought Trump was actually a Christian. He understands it's the political game. You can't be that naive to think that Trump would either suddenly be a Christian or had ever been a Christian. There's a lot about human nature and behavior that most people will never understand or never know. Even though it's pretty obvious, it's just a matter of noticing. I'm gonna say this is a weird looking tree, but then again, it's just the green light, actually. But anyways, but that's how it is with Rekieta, is people will say, of course he's a Christian. He says he is, which in that case, I'm also a Christian. I'm also God. I just said I am. Apparently that's what it takes. But again, the missing ingredient there is status. If I was popular enough, it's all about popularity. If I was popular enough and I started telling people I was God, there would be people who believe it. Doesn't matter how much evidence there is that I'm not God. In fact, it doesn't matter that there's evidence of anything at all, ever. This is. I want to keep this and this. Oh, you know what? I was going to put more food. Not sure I really need it. Although, well, I do want to make sure I'm keeping it. Anyways, here. Yeah, but this is the hydrocephalus really kicking in for Nick Rekieta, where he's unironically, and I think he knows his audience will just not question anything he says. Again, it's status. That is the effect of status, is that if you say something and you have enough status, people will believe it even in the face of infinite amounts of contrary evidence. It doesn't matter. Evidence does not matter to Nick Rekieta's fans. But yeah, he's saying that the stuff that was from his locals, such as the bottle up his ass, the streams of him talking about doing mushrooms with his wife on vacation, the stuff on locals where he took pictures. I don't even know if that was behind the locals paywall, where he took pictures of himself at hedonism too. Which is funny because when people talk about hedonism too, it's like, I missed hedonism 1, and it's like, it's not like there's a 1 or a 3. It's been called hedonism 2, I think, for 20 years, because I remember radio shows would talk about, like, can you believe there's these weird sex parties? It's crazy. And I remember hedonism 2 being mentioned, and maybe that's where Rekieta heard about it too. And again, normally, it's like, okay, somebody likes going to sex parties. If it wasn't a YouTuber that I knew about, who, is sort of makes their name going around telling people that their life is supposed to revolve around wholesomeness or whatever. And then, of course, see, that's the thing, is that Rekieta was selling himself that way. It's just like with Eric July, where he's like, we're going to own the woke, we're going to win, we're going to destroy, we're going to put the industry on notice. And then people are like, Well, that doesn't mean your comic's going to be good just because you say your comic is about owning the woke. I mean, what else do you have? And then all of a sudden, it's like, we've never said we were going to own the woke. We never once. Again, just flat out lying. That's what Rekieta does. That's why it's not a coincidence. Rekieta was supporting Eric July from the beginning and constantly is praising Eric July and talking about how he hopes Eric July makes $1 billion. This is why he supports Eric July, because they're the same type of person. They appeal to people who are desperate to be pandered to, who want to worship status, who most importantly want to be told only what they want to hear. They don't want evidence. They don't want works. That's the Ethan effect, is they don't want the actual work to be done. They just want to be told that work will be done. They want the selling, but they want the marketing spin. That's what they want. See, you can tell it's true because the thunder, even though it's been going constantly, so kind of doesn't mean anything. I'm just going to dump these empty boxes here. I'm probably not even going to sell them. I mean, why would I need to sell them? I have like $900,000 in this game. I hacked it. I hacked my save file. Anyways, now I'm going to go. I got to go to blog post. Shit. I'm becoming hungry in the game, too. Oh, there we go. All better. So, yeah, here. Play more of this.
These things I will talk about on locals for sure. But when you go to a certain place that is not my channel, someone else's channel, and they take content from both my YouTube Rumble channels and then my locals channel, which is completely different, and you take that, you don't delineate or make a distinction between them. You just try and act like it's the same thing.
See, this is completely fucking delusional. He's now blaming, and for the first time ever, bringing this up for the first time ever, he just thought of this excuse, this pathetic excuse. He just thought of it and is like, oh, this is a good one. This will get him. Where he's going to tell people, you know, the locals channel is different. It's not the same thing. Why would you think it's the same thing? Okay. That's inaudible. You know what? That's inaudible, but the lightning effect isn't. Okay, yeah, 50. You know, how about level 42, the secret answer to... Oh, what do I do? Wait, you know, I should have done that anyways.
Well, people get the wrong impression. They go, oh, he's talking about this all the time. They go about, he's talking about this, he's doing this thing, degeneracy. It's like, well, no, this... And a lot of times questions come up in locals that I'm answering or responding
Still
to.
inaudible.
Like, he's talking about this. Like, that wasn't my intention. I'm going to talk about stuff.
See, here, this is the thing. This is the thing that's really triggering him, is that people are using his words against him. That's what he doesn't want. He thought he was above that. And for a long time, for years, he was above that. He would say things that were contradictory for years, where he would... I'm in the menu. What the hell? Anyways, he would say stuff that would cancel each other out, but people would overlook it because it's like, he's a base trad Chad, guys. So, you know, you're just jealous. If you point it out, you were just jealous. Again, the same argument. That's where they got it from. All of them get it from each other and have for years. And the thing is, it came from the left originally, was you're jealous. Leftists would say that as their argument when they were wrong. And now Nick Rekieta is saying it. And in essence, I mean, doesn't that either proves Nick Rekieta is a leftist, or that anyone could use the argument, or the false argument, the rationalization.
But look, if
but I think it means Rekieta is a leftist.
Whatever, great.
There's other proof that Rekieta is a leftist, by the way.
I don't know how to fix that.
But we won't go into that right now.
Very simple. Everything I've ever talked about in regards to sex, sexuality, and relationships comes from two places. One, my context is a married man who's been married to the woman I idolize and worship in a lot of ways for 19 years. I've been in a relationship with her for 20 years, but we've been married for 19 years. And I'm constantly in awe that I have her. The other context, though, is that in the past year and a half, my
See, again, that's
life
holy
has
shit.
gone from
What the fuck?
the life of a conservative, because other people believe I've always been a libertarian, but a traditional.
See, this is the thing: is that really there were a lot of the people who noticed first about. Oh, that's right. I don't even have a scope on this. What am I thinking? I do have to go back then, don't I? But you know what? I have to clear blog post first. That is what I'm going to do. You know what? Before then, in fact, I made a lot of progress with the clearing these
Christian father.
squiddly dudes.
In the
Never
sense
seen so
that
many
I was
here.
always home and dealing with kids who were too young to leave, even for like overnights or a couple days, to having kids who are now old enough to stay with grandparents, things like that, for a couple days at a time, while Lady Rackets and I go do other things. And I've told some funny stories about occasional activities we've done and anecdotes, which I think are funny. I think they're great. They're always done, though, in the context of we are married to each other and we are committed to each other. We are not, and that's part of the funny aspects of the story to me, is that some people try and do stuff to us because they don't know, like they'll run into Lady Rackets when we're at a place and she's coming out of like a bathroom. Well, I'm not in the bathroom with her, right? So she's coming out of the bathroom. They see this gorgeous woman. They go up and talk to her.
So again,
And
there's
she's
just
like,
a
"Well, my
tidal
husband's over
wave
there,"
of
and then they'll
excuses
come
going
over
on
and
here.
we'll like laugh. And it's great. We have a good, no one's been rude or impolite to her. Or then I'll be out and I will buy drinks for everybody at bars because I don't want to sit in a line. So I will go. I'll go to the front, and whoever's at the front of the line, I'll buy their drinks, and then I'll buy my drinks, so they don't have to sit
He's
in
a
line.
great guy.
That ends up with me meeting people.
How dare you think
talking to people
he's
and,
not good?
and having good conversations. No,
You're
I have a
degenerate
naturally flirty
weirdo.
way of talking to people, especially in person. I always have. I'm just I'm a guy who likes to ingratiate himself into a group or with another person, build rapport very quickly. And so sometimes my conversation can be very flirty, and occasionally that will lead to a missed signal from people. And I try to laugh it off. Like because I don't mean anything by it. And I'm always flattered when people get
See,
that
again,
conclusion, but it's not my
this
intention.
right here
I just
is a giant string of somebody trying to explain why he got caught. He's like, look, I was trying to clean the inside of the cookie jar. You're wrong in thinking that I was trying to get a cookie. You're weird. You're the one who's weird for thinking that.
I just talk to people the way I talk to everybody, and they do that. So
yeah, and what he's trying to excuse here,
because I think
what he's trying to rationalize it here is going to gay 90s and fucking, doing the swinger shit, watching other guys fuck his wife, whatever it is. Now, here's the thing: is that all we know is that he goes to the he goes to sex clubs. That is not up for debate. That part is not up for any, there's no wiggle room with that one. The only question really is, what does he specifically do? And he has friends who knows. The answer, knows guard. Literally nose guarding the answer to that one. And instead of actually telling people, yeah, he's being dishonest with that, they're covering up for him because they know when if people were to actually have proof, first of all, what people would do, like say that Sean guy came out and said, yes, Nick has gone to sex clubs. Yes, he has had other guys fuck his wife in front of him. Nothing I can do about that. What would happen is Sean would become the detractor, and people would be like, I can't believe Sean betrayed you like that and lied about you like that. And Rekieta would be like, yeah, that guy's just a fucking liar. And all he would be able to do to defend himself is say, well, Nick told me this stuff. And people were like, well, where's the proof? And then if he actually showed DMs that proved it, people would be like, you're leaking DMs now. That's exactly what has happened many times in the past. And the thing is that whatever you want to say about, it's wrong to leak DMs, which people everyone has a completely different conflicting opinion about that, where people will say it's always wrong to leak DMs, no matter what, even if it's like, you have evidence that that somebody you're friends with committed a crime and that you don't want to be friends with them, but it's like, here's why I don't want to be friends with them, because these DMs where he admitted that he cut a girl's head off or whatever and drop kicked it through the goalposts of life. Why did he do that? I don't know, but here he is saying it. And then he linked me to the news article about it and said, I did this. Here's my geotag from when I did it. That's right at the crime scene, whatever. People would be like, oh, you leaked DMs about that. That's wrong. It's wrong to do that. And, that's where you are. And some people would say, well, it's okay to do it under that circumstance. But if you leak DMs just because the DMs prove that somebody lied, that's different. That's not the same. Because usually people who say that are people who have lied or would have evidence of them lying in DMs somewhere. Some people would say that it's fine to leak DMs or post DMs if it shows that somebody was dishonest. And then some people would say that it's fine to leak DMs anytime. I understand why people want their DMs to be private, because they are private. They're by nature, DMs or PMs, private messages or direct messages. They are meant to be personal. They're not meant to be public. If they were going to be public, they would be saying them in public. Thing is that I've basically never said anything in DMs that I wouldn't say in public also. But because I know other people prefer to be able to keep their conversations private, I don't post other people's DMs unless it's just, again, if it's just like, I think I've only posted DMs twice, and it was after other people, like, Rekieta. I DM'd Rekieta with the fucking Freddy got fingered reference. If I were your wife, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And that's been out there for years. And Rekieta had such a fucking meltdown about it that he streamed about that for days. And again, the only reason why I knew that is because people on Kiwi farms were like, some of them came to me and were like, Rekieta's melting down about you. And it's like, yeah, that's not really new. I mean, fucking, he had already done that before. So, oh, wait a second. Did I take that? Shit. Well, I can go there again right now. But yeah, that's the nature of the weeb, if you will. Yeah, that, people think that it's different when you say something here, and it's different when you say something somewhere else, which in this case with Rekieta, that's just complete bullshit. He's basically acting like what he is, what he does, what he says, his behavior on locals is like a different person that doesn't count as him. That's what he's saying here. It's not an interpretation of what he's saying. It is just what he's saying. It's not so what you're saying is. It is what he's just, honestly, that, again, he's being accidentally too honest here, telling on himself. How is my fucking sleepiness meter just cranking up this fast? I have no idea. I mean, I know the foodiness meter. Becoming a foodie. Here, let me just go back to playing this, though.
I think they're important to realize, like, one, you get married, and when Lady Ragnarok and I were in college, we acted a certain way. We started a family, and we were always home. We were always with the kids. And you act a certain way. Now the kids are old enough to stay.
See, again, he's saying that you act a certain way.
In a weird way.
What?
We sometimes go back to how we acted in college.
Yeah.
Not the full way, right? Like, we're adults. We're way different now. But we just go and we'll go out to a bar or a club, and we'll have drinks, and we'll talk to people, and everything's
gay sex with dudes.
At the end of the day, it's always us. It's not anybody else. But people try to make it more than us. They do.
Because
And
of
so those are
people
the
like
things, they sometimes
you.
talk about that, mainly because people are like, you're not out there. You don't know what it's
Yeah,
like.
here's the
It's like,
thing.
well,
All of this is just a response. It's a direct response to people noticing. People noticed his behavior, which is all I said should ever happen. All that should happen with Rekieta. And this is what we've been saying for years and have been proven right about many, many times. But specifically, we've been saying the worst thing that can happen to him, the same as, you know, all the other E-celebs, Comic Skate and Ethan Van Sciver and Eric July and so on. The worst thing that can happen to them is that people notice. And that's what's happening right now with Rekieta, is that people are noticing, and it's getting under his skin the same amount that any amount of noticing has ever gotten under his skin. The only difference right now is that there's just more of it. More people are noticing, and they're noticing more. Whereas back in the beginning, it was just a few people that were noticing, primarily us, of course, but there were other people. PPP, I remember, fucking did videos and all that kind of stuff. Him and Godwinson would actually criticize quite accurately. And that was the point. That's what kind of got under. The thing is that PPP went soft, of course. PPP is kind of just generally soft. Ballodo, I forgot. I should have been looking at the chat, but it's a good thing that chat is slow for me, because then it's easy to read and there's fun things. A lot of people use the word weird as a deflection. Yeah, that is one thing that's very important, is that for the past couple of years, if you see people saying that something is weird, it is their giveaway that they're trying to hide something or cover it up, or they're trying to either not get caught, or that they got caught, or somebody was critical of them in a way that they didn't. Well, oh yeah, that's right. I was going to put food here. Pineapple. This is like the stamina beef. Jeez, I'm just keep that then. Oh yeah, this is a good place for food. Yay! But that's just going to come back later, though. Here, come on. Where's the beef one? Where's that beef? What's happening? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is important. This is way more important than Rekieta. All right, here we go.
I mean, in a way, like I don't go on Tinder for sure, but do I go to clubs and talk to people? Yes. Do people try and hook up with me and or Lady Rackets? Yes, they do. We turn them down very politely.
Yeah, he turns them down. See, that's the thing, is that if they don't turn him down, he just says, "I turn him down," so that he can say, I've said no." If he's ever turned anyone down, it's the just like last time. It's the one example covers all examples, and that is a way that it's actually a very, very old way that a lot of people have rationalized their behavior. Is they say they've done something once, therefore it counts for all time. Wait a second. Well, is there something else I was still gonna? Oh yeah, that's right. Energy drinks. Gotta leave some here.
They do that. So I actually want to counter this weird red pill narrative, because I do have insight on how.
And red pill. See, again,
I do have insight.
This is like the. I don't know if it's No True Scotsman specifically, but this is how he's like, see, it's the red pill guys who are accusing me of this. So therefore, anyone who says that he's a cuck, it's just those red pill guys doing it. It's the blanket statement. Everyone gets brought under the blanket of, it's, the red pill is accusing me. Red pill guys, the MGTOW or whatever, or POAs, are accusing me of being a cuck. And he'll say, based on nothing, and then he'll admit that it's like, this is what we were just listening to. He was talking about, like, me and my wife, kind of act like we're in college again. That's him trying to rationalize getting caught, or not even getting caught, but openly admitting him and his wife doing drugs, and whatever. And that's just what he's admitting to. It's not about what actually happens. It's only about what he has said, but even that, people are criticizing him for talking about it, and this is the whole thing is just giant flurry of cope. It's just one endless string of one rationalization after the other. In fact, I think Alyssa Clips named this clip "Coom-splaining, cope-splaining," which is certainly accurate as well, because that's exactly what he's doing. He's just trying to make excuses for all of his behavior he's admitted to that people are not criticizing him for. He doesn't want them to criticize him. He thinks they shouldn't be able to. And now nobody's falling for it anymore. And that's why he's also very depressed, as he should be.
On what things work.
He deserves it. Not just for that, but just for everything in general.
And people want to just shut it out. And it's like, you can't go listening to these red pill guys. They're fucking crazy. They're literally insane. How they deal with people's insane. How they talk about
the next level of weird is crazy and insane. He wanted to say that the red pill guys are weird or weirdos. Weirdo is really very rapidly. It was overused from the very beginning, but it's right now. You're going to see people, all of those people, all of the fake culture war controlled opposition, like Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and Comicsgate and Rekieta and Eric July. You're going to see them stop using the word weird or weirdo pretty soon. Over the coming year or two. Really, it should have been last year, but none of them are really smart enough to catch on to how cringades it has been, how embarrassing they come off themselves, trying to constantly complain about weird, giving away the fact that very blatantly the term weird or weirdo had already come to mean person who disagreed with me. And in many, many cases, weirdo means person who is right, who I don't want them to be right. That is that's the giveaway as well. I'll just sell this, I guess. No. Maybe I'll keep that. I don't even know. Does it matter? Who cares? I don't know. Okay. Could keep that. Well, this is in shitty condition, though. Yeah, whatever. I'm probably not even going to take those.
Women and two women is insane. What they expect from them, what they're selling you on how they work is insane. That's not how people act. It's not how people are.
Again, Rekieta wouldn't know, but he needs to. He sells himself as the expert.
I mean, if you're gonna grab a woman who's 20.
This is the product that Nick Rekieta is. Nick Rekieta has always been this specific product of wholesome traditionalist father. That is the product that has been sold to people. People fell for it, of course, because they wanted to. It doesn't matter if it wasn't true. All they cared about was that they thought it was true, which after Rekieta's gone, the next one will replace him, and people will just go for the exact same thing over again. That's again, that's the nature of the normie pig cattle, which every single fan of Rekieta's always was, essentially just a series of if-then exceptions. Just the underneath, the underman, the underneath person. Let's also see this. The game is Into the Radius. And this is the old, outdated version of Into the Radius. They have made massive improvements, but I'm playing the old version because they replaced the entire map and the whole game, pretty much. Should take the purple pill. Yeah, that actually is an actual term. I don't know if you knew that, but the purple pill is what people consider I've heard that a lot from MGTOW, specifically not Thinking Ape. I mean, it is Thinking Ape, but his main Stardusk is what he primarily goes by. But also Thinking Ape, I suppose. But and it's not like he created that term or invented it, but purple pill is seen as sort of a halfway between the red pill and the blue pill, or it's like guys who are sort of red pilled but still maybe delusional about the bitter reality. Or perhaps you could say guys who aren't cynical enough, something like that. However you want to put it. But that's what is considered to be a purple pillar. And convince a lot of main people who present themselves as conservatives, or even dissonant right, or dumpster pumpers. Yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, you know, the whole concept of, again, the people aren't, you know, looking to actually find the truth. They just know if they tell you something you want to hear, they make money off of it. That's the important thing. Speaking of NATO rifle attachments, yes. Yeah, and I need the long range one. And then can I put a laser on this? I don't think. That's right. They don't even have rifle lasers in this game. Very sad. Very, very weird, you could say. What the? No, yeah, that's right. There we go. Nice. This is steps, right? Yeah. It's hard to tell between steps and time bubble. I'm just going to keep this here, I guess. Because, like, I don't need the money. I don't need to clear quests either. Okay.
22, pump 10 conservative babies into her. You got some realities that are coming that the red pill guys don't talk about. Skull Leader says, but does it get results though? I mean, again, I don't take people home. Skull Leader. Have I had the opportunity to take people home? Absolutely.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. He has to still say, of course I could. I just don't. That is what somebody who does do it. Somebody who fucking, you know, fucks around on his wife or has other guys fuck his wife. They say that. And you could say that guys who don't have their wives get fucked in front of them, they say it also, but they don't really. They don't say, I could fuck every girl in here. I could have every guy in here wanting to fuck my wife, and I could have them come home. Guys who do that are cuckolds. It's not some kind of mystery of life where it's like, well, gee, we don't really know if they're cuckolds. They kind of seem like it sometimes. It's fucking like, you know, it's 1 and 1 equals 2. It's just the patterns of behavior that are the same every time. A guy who, you know, tortures small animals and then has a mysterious basement that he doesn't want anyone to go into. And he says, there's nothing wrong with the basement, okay? You just can't go into it. And I like torturing animals. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not illegal. You know, that kind of shit. It's, you know, again, it's the tell. It's, you want to think that there's no other way around it, but it is what, you know, it is what it is. To quote, I believe Hannibal said that in the TV show Hannibal. That's a quote from Hannibal. Or did Jack Crawford say that? That was from like the first episode, I think, because I was watching the first episode again recently, and one of them just says, it is what it is. It may have been Will Graham. Wonderful Will Graham. Are they gay in that show? Who cares? Yeah, what am I doing with this and this? I want to bring this. I have to go to the other place, because if I'm going to clear the castle, in fact, I should clear the castle first, if anything, shouldn't I?
But I don't do it.
It doesn't do it,
results?
guys.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, see, again,
it's really easy to go
guys
and compliment people.
Do it all the
right
time. I could
and have them respond to what you compliment on.
Oh yeah.
But why even be in the situation in the first place? What's the upside?
What?
Do you mean like why go out with your friends to a bar and like do karaoke and have drinks and have a good time? Because
yeah, why have fun? Guys, what are you, allergic to fun or something?
People try to pick you up. Who cares? Like it's not. This is
Nick
not a
doesn't
problem.
even care, guys.
I don't
He doesn't
understand why
care.
people think this is a bad thing.
Why do you guys think he cares all the
Again, it's
time?
not like you're going out to pick people up. You
See, again,
go out and people.
Even the tone of voice, the especially whiny tone of voice, which again is not new. People act like that's new, and I'm living proof. Here, fucking
Because of people like you!
Nick Rekieta being one of the most thin-skinned, whiny gay wads in the history of the internet is not new, and I had proven that years ago. It's just that the people out there didn't want to see it. They didn't want to know. And that's changed, but of course, we're always, and this is not ego or vanity, this is not gloating, we are always so far ahead of the curve that people, when people finally catch up to what we were saying and what we are being proven right about every single time, they act like nobody ever pointed out before. Because really, Rekieta's fans and friends did what they could to cover it up, to essentially have us deplatformed, which, by the way, worked. Rekieta's friends had us deplatformed a couple of years ago, and Rekieta didn't do anything about it. Not that, granted, you could say he couldn't do anything about it, but he could. He could criticize the people who were responsible, who he was friends with. Instead, he covered up for them and helped platform them further. And there's evidence of that. That has already been shown that, again, people refused to comprehend, to acknowledge, or be honest about. So again, it's all right there. The Liam Gray stuff, the Comicsgate stuff, the Yellow Tug, and so on. It's the same things over and over again. There was something else I was going to get, wasn't it? This. I could get more mags, couldn't I? Yeah, but whatever.
People try to pick you up. You
Again,
go out and you.
I have to say, I do want to point out, I am happy to hear this stuff. It makes me feel good inside to hear Rekieta cornered, which is what this is. Rekieta is desperately cornered, and he's desperately not only flustered, but he looks really sick in this video. He looks like he's not doing well. He looks like he's almost on the verge of death or something, which, I mean, he could be, and people will just say, no, he's not, because they don't want to. But the comment section for these videos, of course, is filled with his former fans, so they'll say that he looks like he's on the verge of death just because they don't like him. So it's really all a matter of if you're capable of pointing out, what is and what isn't, and what you want to be true versus what's actually true. That's the thing, is that we've always been capable of that. It's not really a matter of if we want something to be true, we'll push this because it's like, haha, we can use it to mock people. And the reason why we don't do that is because when you do that, like people in Comicsgate had done that, they do that to us, and they have many times over the years, only to have that blow up in their face. One great example proving this is, again, Liam Gray, when he was DMing Ethan Van Sciver about their conjoined efforts to have us doxxed and deplatformed, by the way, which Ethan, again, just like Rekieta did, accidentally telling on himself, really because he thinks, nobody should have to criticize him about it. But Liam was saying, let's keep this on the down low. I want them sloppy and willing to walk into mistakes and stuff. Because Liam Gray and Ethan, of course, also thought surely that would happen. Ethan had learned already the hard way that wasn't going to happen, and it was going to be a disaster. And in fact, he was starting to wake up to the fact that Liam was a complete liability, as we had been. What helped Ethan realize that as well is that we, for months up to that point, we had been joking at Ethan Van Sciver's expense that Liam is a liability. And the thing is, again, we just do that in public. We go, wow, fucking, Ethan's going to be in deep shit when this blows up in his face. And sure enough, it was. But again, Ethan had people like Nick Rekieta and so on helping to do damage control and cover up for him. So when Ethan got caught paying Liam Gray to try and get our docs and so on, and people DM'd Nick Rekieta being like, when people DM'd Nick Rekieta being like, hey, are you going to talk about this? Because this is pretty serious. This is not good for Comicsgate, and this is not good to, it's not good optics, certainly. But Rekieta then goes to them. In fact, Rekieta says something weird, and I think he already said it in this or something. But he mentions, earlier, way earlier, in fact, I did sort of acknowledge this, but Rekieta had said that he hasn't lost any friends over this. And, which is also provably not true, because I know people who were friends with Nick Rekieta who said, yeah, Nick Rekieta's cut off all contact with me. And this was, again, this isn't recent, this is years ago, where people have known Nick Rekieta since before he was a law tuber, have said, you know, I've known Nick Rekieta for all this time, but he doesn't talk to me anymore. And I've tried messaging him and, you know, asking him about stuff unrelated to any of this, by the way. It's just like, yeah, I tried talking to Nick Rekieta and he just leaves me on red now, and I have no idea why. And again, the only possible assumption is because Nick Rekieta knows that this friend of his, now former friend of his, also had talked to me and was friends with me. And because of that, Rekieta's like, well, now you're not going to be friends with me anymore. Rekieta has a detractors list. He has had a detractors list for since 2018, going back to 2018. And that is that's a very important thing, is that they publicly act like, oh, people having detractors lists, that's like DSP. And it's like, yeah, but you do that. Ethan Van Sciver has had a detractors list. It's not even something that's like private or mysterious. They make it public. Not even Rekieta, but Ethan Van Sciver constantly has publicly targeted other people in Comicsgate who he simply doesn't like anymore. And then in DMs, he will, which again, it's funny how many of Ethan Van Sciver's friends leak DMs with him. Which, you know, if that's a bad thing, how coincidental is it that that Ethan makes friends with so many people who do stuff like that? But yeah, a lot of DMs of Ethan Van Sciver telling people and saying like, oh, this person in Comicsgate, like talking shit about Mandy Summers, who I guess is maybe a different Mandy from... She's also like a meth whore, cam whore in Comicsgate. Oh, shit. This is empty. Yeah, I figured. Whoa. But, Ethan was talking a lot of shit about her and how much he doesn't like her. Almost primarily because she really just has no talent and got all of her fame and clout in Comicsgate from just sending nude pictures of herself to other guys in Comicsgate. In fact, that led to several scandals behind the scenes that were completely covered up by people in Comicsgate. And again, that should be an open secret. It's stuff that's pretty well known. But Comicsgate is better at keeping secrets about their behavior than they are about making or finishing comics. And that's not even getting into the fact of their comics being dog shit. Did I really empty this one too? I better bring more ammo. In fact, I should bring like another 20 mags. but that means I have to go back right now. I'm going to try to go to the apartment. Although, should I? Or should I just... I don't know. Here, although, I'll play.
You
We'll play more of
socialize with
this.
your friends.
This is going on for a
Your
while.
spouse, you go dance. Like if you want to go dancing, where do you go dancing? You go somewhere with dance floor and music. If you want to go do karaoke, where do you do karaoke? You can't just you can do some of this stuff at home, but it's not the same. So you go out. You go out for dinner sometimes, right? You can eat at home, but you go out for dinner because they have different food. It's like, and then people try to pick you up or pick up your spouse, and they're respectful. Like, who fucking cares? Thing is, when Lady Raggers goes to the bathroom,
I mean, if you're going to gay 90s, a sex club,
stops her and tries to
that
pick
might
her
be
up,
relevant, at least.
and she says, "Yeah, my husband's right over there." She says it with a smile. The person will look over at me, smile, they'll do like a "what's up" thing, and they'll typically come over and say, "Hey, I didn't mean anything. Your wife's beautiful. She's great." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Married her. She's awesome." And they're like, I didn't mean." And I'll go, "Dude, if I saw her coming out of the bathroom alone, I would try and pick her up too. She's my wife. I find her very hot. So I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna,
she's so hot, you
for
guys.
that. You didn't know. You just saw a pretty person, and you went in to talk to him.
Guys are hitting on his wife all the
Same thing that
time.
anybody would do at a bar. The overwhelming majority of people have been very cool and very relaxed about this stuff, and it's fun.
Too cool, though?
You know, we
I
go
don't
out
know.
with friends who are single. Some of them want to pick up people. We go out with friends who are married. We just want to go dance or maybe have some drinks. This isn't a weird thing. And the
It's
fact
not
that people
weird.
have made this a weird
This
thing is
isn't weird,
strange
guys.
to me.
Why do you
But,
think it's weird? You're weird for thinking it's weird.
This is the part of the internet. It's the inconsistency. That's about. It's not inconsistent. What is inconsistent about going out with your spouse? It's so fucking weird. People have
See,
this
again,
weird
he's
idea.
He's
Don't
reframing
know.
the stuff that people bring up that is certainly weird. He's basically straw manning himself. He's like, sometimes I go out to a club with my wife. Why do you guys think that's weird? When he's completely ignoring what everyone actually had the problem with. This is not just dishonest behavior, it's cover-up behavior. It's basically whatever people have accused him of is true. This is what people do when it's true. When they are caught doing something, when they're making excuses like this, they are covering up for something that was found out to be true, that they don't want people thinking about. But notice Rekieta can't even honestly address or discuss. He just he does something that it's easy to say it's a pathological liar move, but really it's a cuckold move. It's something that embarrassed cuckolds do when they get caught being cuckolds and didn't want people noticing that they're cuckolds. Is that they make a big string of excuses, but they also pretend that the evidence that was found, suddenly they don't bring. It's not that it doesn't exist. They don't bring it up, so therefore, everyone who has pointed it out is suddenly they're of course weird, but that therefore they're lying for mentioning. Just like the people where Nick Rekieta got so gamed by somebody doing that he accidentally called his own wife a liar. The super chat that was just a transcript of Rekieta's wife talking about getting her tits massaged by the masseuse. They just super chatted the transcript of that, and Rekieta's response to that, first of all, was the ultimate beta male soy boy cuckold move of, if you don't like the show, don't watch it. But then he also said, that's not what happened, by the way. It's like, okay, you're saying your own wife lied there. Because that's the exact same behavior. Just reframe the argument and then dismiss it without admitting, again, fucking Rekieta on accident. And Rekieta will just say, oh, I forgot. That's, is that what happened? Whatever. I don't remember. Just like he said he didn't drink on the that show where it was the stream where he dressed up like a big gay wad, like himself. But no, the anime Catboy gay costume stream. Okay, how do I noon? Yeah, that should be okay. But yeah, that's how he does it. He's like, I didn't drink on that one, and then people are like, here's evidence that you got drunk. Here's screenshots of you holding alcohol, and he's like, oh, okay, I forgot then, and that's it. It's just not even acknowledging that it was real, just acting like other people were the one to present it that way. Here we go. Yeah, I did have that the whole time. You know, I actually need way more mags for
I don't
the
know
pistol
what it is.
also.
I don't know what the inconsistency they perceive is, but it's always based on something I've never understood.
So you notice it's everyone
Again,
else's fault.
Everyone
else is getting it wrong as he
with Lady Rackets.
misrepresents
She's
what really
monogamous with
happened.
Me, we're our only people. We have been for 19 years. We were virgins when we met. It's just us.
So again, the same
We
story.
go out.
He's
we
just
have
telling
fun at a
people what they
dance
want to
club
hear.
or something. We go out to a beach or a pool, and we go and like we'll occasionally talk to other people who are there. Sure, you're out to talk to people. We don't lead them on. We don't try to we don't try to get them. We don't try to do anything with them. Some
See,
people
again,
do to us.
just constant
We're very
excuses.
upfront. We're not into.
He
that.
doesn't need to make any
Not into
excuses.
that. Thank you. Very flattering. We just are out dancing. We're just out
Because an excuse isn't really a denial. It's an attempt to misdirect.
Go pick up our friends. Our friends are super single. I'll wingman for people all the time. But it's like, it's very flattering.
The humble
it's very nice,
brag,
but
too.
We're not into that.
Which is
How
also,
is that
again,
inconsistent? I don't
kind of the
get
giveaway.
it. You're married. It does not mean you're dead. It does not mean you can't go out. It does not mean you can't go to a dance party. You can't go have fun. And you can't go do crazy shit. I've talked about crazy shit that we've done together too.
Yeah, again,
Absolutely.
this is
We've
exactly
always done it
what
together.
people are
We've always
concerned
dealt with the idea
about.
that we are monogamous and with each other, and we're not with anybody else. We've always adhered to that. Why is that hard for people to understand?
Yeah,
You don't have
other
to do
people.
everything we've done.
Again, it's their
Certainly.
fault. Other people's fault.
But your marriage is not a death contract. It is not a death contract. You do
Again,
not
this is
have to
reframing
you
the
do not
argument
have
to what people
become
didn't say.
these weird husks that online.
It's
Again,
again misdirection.
what
This is pure
married
misdirection
people
on
are
his part.
conservative people to be. You're not that. You won't be. You're human. You're human.
I'm
Maybe
not sure
confusing
about
my
that in your
critiques
case.
for others, because I didn't say you aren't monogamous, I wouldn't say anything like that. Ooh, it's hard for me to follow, dude, because like I only get random comments
'Cause it's
that I
weird?
see online, but I
Is
see
it
these
weird?
comments about me
He gets
all the time
triggered
from
by them.
other people. I just want you to know, like Reverton,
Weirdos?
I don't know where the inconsistency or hypocrisy that people talks about comes from, other than people have spun a narrative about me and Lady Rackets, which is
Spun a
mostly my
narrative.
fault. I'll take
Again, the
I'll take
narrative
blame.
comes from the clips of
I've
him
talked about some
talking.
activities that we've done that are risque. There are things that not every person would do. There are things that we wouldn't have thought about doing 10
Are
years
they?
ago
What?
when we had young kids and we're still having
Huh?
kids. I get it. All right. But the reason I talk about them is because every one of those things is an opportunity for someone who is in a marriage, who is in a relationship, to explore something different. And I think
She's the relationship advice. Again, reframing what nobody brought up in the first
this
place.
place where you can't be you. And
It's
we've all
again
done it. I
misdirecting.
shouldn't say so many people. We've all done it. So many people go into a marriage. They meet someone in college or their early work years. They go into a marriage. They're these crazy wild people, right? That's how they met. They met at
What?
some party. They're both naked, like running through some jello. I don't know what they're doing. They're
it's
doing this
crazy.
thing, and they go to these.
They're having
crazy
fun.
events
That's what they're doing.
together. They have like wild.
That's all he
premarital
cares about.
sex.
It's just
They have-
fun.
They have all this stuff, and then they get married, and they're supposed to be completely different people because some religion or some tradition tells them they have to be completely different.
Some tradition.
And they get themselves in this mindset, and they do that. And
Just
they're
say you're not a
miserable.
Christian. Just say
No.
you're not a Christian.
Some of the shit you do in
It's a
college or
lot
whatever is
easier.
impractical to
That's
do when
probably
you're
what's
kids.
coming up
You can't just
eventually.
leave. Like you can't just You have a 1-year-old, you can't just leave for a week.
He'll probably
It's
say,
traumatic
I'm
for
no
a 1-year-old.
longer a Christian, though.
You
That's
don't
what
wanna
he'll do.
that. You have to find people who they trust to be with, and 1-year-old is just a little young for a week, maybe a day, maybe an overnight or something. But there are different stages of permanence that kids go through that you can go longer and longer. Eventually, like for Lady Rackets and I, our youngest is 6. 6
Does
years
that
old
include
is
aborting your
pretty
kids,
capable
Nick?
of dealing with permanence issues, the abstracts of a parent leaving and coming back. All of that is fine for them. They know, and especially if they're with a trusted person, like my parents or her parents, they know we're coming back. They know they're safe. All of that stuff, that's critical to us. But we get to go back and do some of the things that we did in college that were like, they're goofy.
See, he's
and silly,
trying, again, he's selling the
but
product
they're
of
always
good parent.
us.
It is a product.
And
It is a marketing spin.
and
Always
people
has
have taken
been.
that in a wrong way because maybe
You're
they're not in
dishonest
the
if you
same
think
point of
otherwise.
life.
You're a dishonest
Maybe
person
they've
by
never
nature.
had kids. Maybe they've never been married and they have an idea of how life will treat you. I can guarantee you, the way you think life will treat you, your marriage, whatever, is wrong. You won't get that.
Oh, yeah. Nick knows what's right. You
will
don't.
not get this ideal life that you think you'll always have. And that's what I'm here to.
I can't
talk
even
to
describe
people
how
about in
withered
some
and like
capacity, 'cause I
greasy
have
Nick
that
looks in
experience.
this
I have that
video, by the
experience of
way.
being college me, of being
He does not look good. He looks very,
conservative trad
very
daddy, which is
bad.
literally just making sure our
Physically.
children were psychologically sound as much as possible, and then being in a place where we could physically afford and also mentally afford to go on some vacations, to do some silly stuff together and have fun.
Silly. See, it's just fun,
always
silly
do
stuff.
so with
Not degenerate.
consent, love, and respect for each other, and no other people being involved. Like, that's
Weirdos
just
think
what
it's
I did.
degenerate. He just thinks it's silly and fun.
And so, like, I told these stories because I thought they would help people, and I think they did. I think they did help.
He's a
lot
helper of people, too.
I got
Do
so
you
many
even
emails from
appreciate
people
that?
saying
I
they
don't think
did,
so.
But so many people also like hated them or came out against them. They mischaracterized and misinterpreted them, and I was like, "How did you do this? How did you fucking
They're
misinterpret
weirdos. That's
these
how.
things that were very straightforward?" And the only conclusion I can come to is because they wanted to. They needed someone to be broken. They needed someone to be a mess. Riverton says, "I'm not trolling. I'm just all about the theology talk." Always haven't. That's great.
See, that's the thing. Nick always, when somebody, he doesn't understand. There are a lot of his fans who have genuine, legitimate, correct concerns about his behavior. Even his own friends. There's that clip we listened to at the very beginning. It was only 30 seconds, but it was his friend, that Sean guy, another lawyer, a practicing one perhaps this time. But he, wait, there's actually, what the fuck? Huh. But wait, who cares? Who cares about this? But basically just straight up saying, yeah, something's going on with Nick. He is different now. Nick's fans have noticed it. They can't help noticing it because Nick is having currently a complete downfall, which they always say, you know, it's a jinx to say that, like if I were to say, I hope Nick keeps drinking, it'll jinx it and he'll stop. But then if you say, well, okay, then in that case, I hope Nick quits drinking, then you're reverse jinxing it because it's too self-aware. So instead of either of those, I will just say Nick is having a downfall. And the idea, by the way, of Nick pulling up is delusional. That's something that is it's like what we referred to as the Cape Cucks. The Cape Cuck syndrome is Marvel and DC shitting in your face for years and years. And we had said before Comicsgate ever existed that the solution to that is just dump it entirely. Don't act like you can save the industry. Even acting like you can put the industry on notice means that you want them to notice you. If you are doing any of that, they have basically fucked you in front of your entire family, in front of your parents. Marvel and DC have made you their bitch by essentially making you care about something that is not worth caring about. You care about stupid shit that you could theoretically do better. Now, of course, we've seen from Comicsgate they can't do better. In practice, Eric July can't do better. Ethan Van Sciver can't do better. Nick Rekieta was supposed to be working with Ethan Van Sciver to make something, a comic book or something, or to have it published through All Caps. And this again was before Cyberfrog 1 was even late, or specifically years late. So it is funny at their expense, but again, it goes to show even Nick Rekieta can't get it done. In fact, it's kind of suspected. I don't know, but it's kind of suspected that Rekieta. This laser sight is just too useful. But anyways, it's kind of suspected that Rekieta's gift, the 5K gift for the local subscribers, is some kind of collaboration with Ethan. Which, by the way, that's basically like collaborating with Vaush, essentially. Except, you can't be honest enough to admit it. I think I basically have all the stuff I really need out here. I mean, there's maybe not enough flares, but there are beds. I could sleep to the daytime, so I don't have to actually need flares all the time and just have flares for emergencies. That's the important thing. So I think this will be my kill everything run, but I'm definitely not going to finish it today. I wonder if I can blow these things up now. Yay. Oh, you know what? This one too. Well, why not? Oh. Nice. Good for hip firing. Or shoulder. Or chest firing. The way that wobbles the screen is actually very disorienting. I don't like it. I think this is getting close to wrapping up. I definitely need to keep every one of these that I can.
And I will never claim to be an authority on theology, but
on theology.
I just don't see God saying, yeah, you can't explore sex and sexuality with your partner.
UMPSC.
I think it's weird, and I don't want a religion that says that. And so many
guys
try to. Don't get me
how
wrong,
come
so many
weird?
Try to say that. I won't subscribe to that notion, and I will be the person, if I can, to get people to not ever do that.
So he sent that to Maddox.
Okay.
Maddox ignored it, but
that's the end of that clip. And if this is the I forget which one this is. Let me check. Let me just check real quick. You know what though? Let me look at this. Actually, I like. Let's look at the radius. I should have a cigarette, but I kind of can't afford them now. Or yeah, I could. I don't have the lighter though. I need a lighter. I was hoping to find one. Commits a lot of main people who present themselves as, oh yeah, like saying you can't review a movie because you pirated it. Yeah, exactly. Which is what Eric July also tried, saying that you can't review his comic if you pirated it. Which again, that's delusional. That is an SJW argument from Eric July, but of course it is. He is one. He fucking campaigned for Obama. He was in Antifa, all that shit. He's simply using the fucking, he is simply selling the product of based BBC. DMs aren't private messages. I think the fame got to him. Just stub my toe. Turn the bouncy boop anime lady off. No. First of all, to answer your question with that.
No.
Bored now. Oh, that's also too bad.
What a shame.
Whatever. I think maid outfit would have been better. Huge spaceship. Where's the huge spaceship? If you mean that, it's not a spaceship. But I'm not sure what you're referring to anyways. Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to hit this. And let's see. That. There. Maybe I just need to exit out. I'm not sure that's even good enough, but okay, so the next one I have to clear that. This. I'm not even sure if there's a lot of enemies there. Oh, I do have to go to the dorms too, and I know there's enemies there. And I know there's going to be free-floating enemies around here, and I could try going for there. Also, quarry. I don't even know what that is. But this is why I want to do this, because there are a bunch of areas in this game I've never been to. Harbor. I don't even know what that is. I know what the castle is, because these require me to go to actually do quests. Sorting station. Yeah, I'm not even sure what the whatever. But this is a good excuse to take one final tour of the 1.0 version. I think if you have this game, which is not likely, I know, because there aren't really a lot of good justifications to get VR. But actually, let me look at what video is on right now. Okay, yeah, no, this is not the one that's like a half hour. This is the one that is only a couple minutes long. Although it has a visual element of it. This is on Alyssa Clips if you want to check it out for yourself. But here, I'm just going to play this through, and that'll probably be the end of the stream.
Years later, he has now bought the domain name. Nick Rekieta is not a blackface lawyer and has posted a...
He's talking about Maddox. Maddox did some big video. Like it's very interesting, suspicious timing. I think it needs to be treated more suspiciously. The timing of Maddox released a video, big expose video. H Bomber guy and I think Todd in the Shadows, who was very anti-Gamergate on Channel Awesome back in the day. But Channel Awesome, I mean the that guy with the glasses, the Nostalgia Critics website, basically. But yeah, all like two of them did videos about someone I've never heard of, but it was both of them doing an expose on that guy, on some guy who I've never heard of. In the middle of it, I think the H Bomber guy does a some kind of attempted takedown or something on an internet historian, calling him a plagiarist. The suspiciously similar to the way that Razor Fist referred to the Witcher novels and games as plagiarism, which is incredibly stupid and wrong. Really, Razor Fist is just a hipster. I think even calling him a metal hipster is giving him too much credit. Calling him Metal Spoonie is also giving him way too much credit. The actual Spoonie made far more good, entertaining videos than Razor Fist ever has or will, because it's important to remember, by the way, Razor Fist used to do movie reviews, kind of like or very much like the way that Spoonie did, which were entertaining. I liked his reviews. I liked where he would just trash a game. Sometimes even if it was a game I liked. I liked it when he would praise some cheesy, dumb 80s movie. The Spoonie was 1,000 times better at it than Razor Fist is. But Razor Fist doesn't really do that anymore. He doesn't really do any. He just does videos where he's like, guys, politics. It's like, okay, thanks. Thanks for that insight. Pseudo Spoonie, that's really the more accurate term. How many of these do I have? You know what? I'll keep these, I guess, for now. For now. I don't need too many of these. I shouldn't really be carrying ammo. But you know what? I'm gonna leave ammo at Block Post. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave all of this ammo at Block Post. And I'm gonna leave that grenade at Block Post. That's what I'm going to do before I really wrap up the stream. Or, you know what? I'll probably wrap up the stream.
The picture of Nick Rekieta in blackface, and then also not in blackface, and says, this is Nick Rekieta. This is Nick Rekieta in blackface. They're not the same thing at the same time. And
by the way, one very interesting point that my brother made on the Discord. Wonderful Discord server. Probably the best Discord server in all of existence in human history. But he pointed out that basically it's almost entirely, or it really is, entirely shitlibs who do blackface. If you do blackface, you are a shitlib, basically. And pretty much the only exception is, say, for instance, Jim Goad. Jim Goad is not even necessarily a conservative. I don't think I would classify Jim Goad under any political wing or affiliation necessarily. Jim Goad is just Jim Goad. He is who he is. Even if you don't like him for whatever reason, it's fine. But there are definitely people who don't like him for dumb, fake reasons. There are legitimate reasons to dislike him, but some people like, he once said that he fucking had gay sex with someone. It's like, that was something you heard on an actual gay Catboy stream or something. You know, shouldn't you be more embarrassed for believing that? But whatever. Or just the fact, like, you know, Jim Goad doesn't go around pretending to be a pious Christian, wholesome trad chat or any of that shit. Jim Goad is a guy who just talks openly about how he did goofy shit. He talks about how he was a wigger back in the 80s and that kind of thing. And that he got RSG'd. He got red sunglasses, which is, of course, superior to the mere piddling red pill. The little insignificant red pill. If you're only merely red-pilled, I'm not impressed. Which is very important. It's very important that I'm not impressed with you. People should feel bad. What about red face? Yeah, Nick Rekieta, he's fucking, it wasn't even, it was more like brown face, too. It wasn't even proper blackface. He didn't commit to it the way that Justin Trudeau did. Justin Trudeau more based and red-pilled than Nick Rekieta? It sure seems so. That's very unfortunate. The huge gray thing with that. Oh, yeah. It's basically a black cloud around. If you watch yesterday's stream... If you watch yesterday's stream, I actually played the end of this game. I played the end of this game where you were basically underneath that thing. It's essentially like an eclipse, but it's over the Earth. And it's maybe, you know, like a mile in diameter. I think what it's supposed to be is the super consciousness that was underneath the surface of the planet and had been awakened by, in 1.0 here, blasting in a dynamite mine or something like that. Maybe I should use this. I could have brought the bayonet, but I don't want to. What the hell? What are you doing? What are you doing? But it was, yeah, it's, the cloud, is this giant black cloud is covering up sort of the top half, but once you get to the final mission, you can see, oh, there we go. Wait. Who cares? I feel slightly, congealed, to quote Christopher Hitchens, slightly congealed, slightly nauseated, to actually leave ammo on the ground. But if it's ammo for a gun I'm not going to use, there's no point in me actually bringing it. Here though, let me bring this.
And it's just like a little SEO poisoning page that he set up. So people ask Rekieta to respond, and this is not his response to that, but this is him promising to respond to it. And all of this is a needless aside because it's not what I'm showing you by playing this video.
Good night, Nick. Maddox made a website about you, by the way. Nick Rekieta is not a blackfacelawyer.com. So funny. Everybody's like, you got to talk about the Maddox thing. It? And I'm sitting here going, I want to so bad talk about the Maddox thing. We're delving into Maddox because Maddox has given us a gold mine. The gold mine is Maddox has finally, after 6 fucking years, decided to talk about the lawsuit.
Shit. Oh, it's, yeah, he muted it. Hold on.
Sorry. Yeah. Once again, I muted myself. Let me repeat myself.
Good job.
Ignore his words. I put this on mute. And I'm going to show this to you because I want you to look at him. Do not look at what he's saying. Do not look at anything else on the screen. Focus in right between his eyes, or maybe on the outline of his head. and just watch his head for a second. You see it, chat? Do you see?
He's
what
basically
I see?
yeah. He has Whoa! What the hell?
Take a look.
Here, I could describe what. And again, if you want to check out the video, it's like 2 minutes long. From Alyssa clips. It's just the sniper. You know what they fixed? There's another thing they fixed in 2.0. I can see this close enough. I could just tear through these guys. There. I think that did it. During the daytime, it's easier to see. I could have used a flare. I just didn't want to because more flares I save, the more flares I can keep. But anyways, what he's looking at, he muted the audio so that you just focus on Rekieta's face, which the entire time, Rekieta's talking silently. Again, it's muted, but the entire time, Rekieta's head is shaking, like basically like this, like very subtly shaking, but it's just wobbling a little bit, which there could be a lot of causes of that, aside from just, your average run-of-the-mill alcoholism, of course, but specifically it could be the DTs, which is even called the delirium tremens, as in, tremors, like the movie, the classic, wonderful motion picture. But it's considered sort of like the end stage of alcoholism, where if you have gotten drunk to that point, it's kind of over, and you won't be back. Yeah, believe this. Again, it's blog post. It makes sense for there to be a grenade there. I could open these cans too, but it's like, wouldn't that be disgusting? I will leave another food can here too, actually. No, I have to definitely leave food. I was going to leave a cleaning kit at the apartment, but to be honest, if I have two, got one here and one here, all I have to do is just find a way to make it back. In fact, you know what? I've cleared this. Whatever. There we go. Here, but yeah, what he's looking at the clip right now. I do recommend checking it out. It's like the 2.5 minute clip on Alyssa Clips of Matty, which is mad at the internet, null watching Rekieta have the shakes. It could also be from low calories. It could be from starvation. Because he's talked. That's one thing. Yeah, that's another thing that people have been talking about with Rekieta is that he has been openly talking about how he only gets I don't know the exact number. I forgot the exact number. But it was he only eats 200 calories a day so that he can drink all he wants without getting fat. And even people who are friends with him are like, Nick, that's not good. That's not a good thing. I think even Dick Masterson and Camelot, which is kind of embarrassing. Is like, why'd you go on the guy whose only claim to fame is publicly embarrassing himself about the regarding the Pippa situation, where even if you hate, I know people who don't even like VTubers who are like, man, fucking that whole Pippa thing is just sad. They take Pippa's side even though they don't like VTubers, just because it's like he was such an idiot there. Well, of course, thinking that he was totally cool, which is how it always tends to work out, isn't it? There we go. Here, yeah, I'll play the rest of this, and that should wrap up the show for tonight.
His entire body.
I plan to do another show.
Shaking.
Yeah,
his entire body. You can see his head is very noticeable, but he's got the proper shakes, and his entire body is shaking now. All right. I think that is it. I do not know. The rest of what he says is just rambling nonsense. I just want to show him shaking. Because I'm mean like that, I guess. I don't know. I was watching this, I was looking at him, and I was thinking, like, that motherfucker is like vibrating. Maybe that's the explanation. He doesn't have the alcoholic shakes. He just has the vibrato on, and it's buzzing as he's talking. That's more reasonable, Chad. That's less mean spirited.
He has it on. Maybe he has it in. I mean, don't forget.
So here we go. This first clip. Yeah. Let's we see.
This one was very interesting, but I'm just I'll have to play that on the next show, which probably won't be tomorrow. Sad, I know. But was there actually? Is this gonna clean it? I don't even know. The Rekieta may have had the vibraldo in instead of on, because after all, it's considering that it is the baldo, you don't necessarily have to put it on your balls to use it, especially if it vibrates. But now Rekieta might be in the end stages of alcoholism. And another thing that's very important is with people actually noticing this, he's never, ever going to live it down. There's not going to be a moment where Rekieta, where people are going to just memory hole that Rekieta got so fucking drunk. I need a lighter, damn it. You know what? There usually is one, but I can't just be like, I gotta go get a lighter. I gotta find one. I have to actually find one. You know what? I don't want to be here. This is actually better if I just. Yeah, that's much better. We'll get some daylight in here before continuing the adventure. Yeah, here we go. Ah, it's lovely. The lovely Radius. I'm very hyped for Into the Radius too, by the way. It was, Razor Fist, the guy who defended Michael Jackson. Yeah, he's a Michael Jackson truther. There may be something to that necessarily, but I personally wouldn't defend Michael Jackson because even if, let's say, he's not a pedophile, he's still such a bizarre person who wanted to have children in his bed. It's like, that's just something that, first of all, that's something we shouldn't be just condoning culturally or societally. And what about red face? I think VTubers are okay. Yeah, I don't really like VTubers, but I don't hate them. I think it is bizarre how much people love them on a day-to-day basis. I understand people who are just like, oh, they're cute and they say funny things. Check out this compilation. Some of them I've found funny. Japanese VTubers saying the N-word. Pretty funny. But anyways, so yeah, good show. I am starting this sort of final run. Another thing though, speaking of suspicious timing of a bunch of things, there's a big handful of VR game bundles, and Steam is also having this huge VR. I think that's kind of why is that Steam is having a huge VR sale on a bunch of games. So I did buy one that was just like, oh, this looks so cool, because it was like Delver, which is a sort of a voxel roguelike dungeon crawler. And it's called, this one is called Ancient Dungeon, or Ancient Dungeon VR, but it's a VR version basically of Delver, kind of. It does look pretty similar. And you know what's funny is that they just released a beta that adds multiplayer, so you can play it with other people if you want. And that's in beta, so I'd have to install the beta. But I'm just, I played like an hour of it today earlier, and it was pretty fun. I liked it. And then there's a Humble bundle also for VR games. There's also a Fanatical bundle for VR games, but the Humble bundle is kind of a better deal because that was $15 for like 6 or 7 VR games that a couple of them looked interesting. And in a way, it's like, okay, if 2 of them look interesting, basically you're getting them for $7.50 or something. So I went for that. But also I want to try all of them. one of them also was like the deluxe version of Arizona Sunshine, which me and my brother played together and finished, and that game was so fucking jank that it kept soft locking itself because basic map triggers wouldn't go off. But now I own the deluxe version anyway because it just came with a bundle, so and that's fine with me. I do also know that After the Fall, which I kind of liked, but also just really sour, and they completely dumped any support for that. The game's dead now. In fact, last time I went into it a few months ago, there were no players playing it, and it was cross-platform. No players were playing it. But yeah, and the last update for it was in February. So again, there's not even a patch, no nothing. And the game's pretty dry. Once you've finished all the levels at least once or twice, or really, they want you to play them 10 times over to keep unlocking new stuff for your guns. And I basically had all of them because the auto shotgun was so broken that you could install the snowflake chip and just get infinite ammo. And they fixed that. So as soon as they did, the game became way more boring and people dumped it. But now I have bonus skins in that game because I have the deluxe version of Arizona Sunshine, which is by the same jank-ass developer. It's jank in the same way, pretty much, too. But anyways. And there's like a VR gardening game, like VR, what's that? The one, like Harvest Moon. But there's the more recent, very popular version of Harvest Moon that's on PC and stuff. I have it and I've played it. And it's very cute and comfy, but I only played it for a couple days and I was like, whatever. I forgot what it's called though, but there's, I have a VR version of that now. And then I also have VR kitchen cooking simulator. And I'm like, I kind of want to try that just because. And there's a couple other games. There's a VR heist simulator that's like break into people's houses in VR, and there's like it has online, like play with your friends breaking into people's houses. Like okay, and there's a couple shooters. The one I would kind of really like is there are a couple mech games in VR where it's like you're in a mech cockpit and you can flip the switches with your hands and shit. And it's like oh sweet, but then you get to the gameplay and it's just like an empty sandbox with like one other mech, and then you shoot it and it blows up. It's like, yay. And that's the whole game pretty much. It's like, oh, okay, gee. A mech game like that where you actually had to like click the switches. This is a really hot planet. So you got to click the switches to shut down these heat generating things, or I don't know, something that was actually gameplay involving for hitting the switches, instead of just having switches just to hit them or something. I know emergency shutdown's an easy one to think of, but you got to have more than that. Anyways, that's not in the bundle though. That's just a game I was thinking of, but it goes on sale for $20 each time. It's like $20 for a game where you just are in a cockpit and shoot one other mech. VR games are so massively overpriced. Along with the headset. I mean, there are some cheaper headsets, although they raise the price on those too, so whatever. Anyways, here, you know what? Let me load before I leave, just so it's not auto-saving a really old thing. Anyways, tomorrow I want to record a bunch of videos with my brother for Shitty Webcomics Weeklies, and maybe after that I'll be able to do a stream, something like that, where there's a bunch more Rekieta stuff to cover. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks for people showing up, hanging out.
You come in here with balls?
We're able to do these streams
because of people like you.
Mainly because of the support we get from the strange support, as it's been called, from the culture war controlled opposition. So yeah, there's if you check out our Subscribe Star, bunches of videos, and it's a good way to support us. Come on. Okay, there you go. Smoked them. Yes. But But anyways, yeah, Subscribestar is a good way to support us and get access to a bunch of bonus, not just bonus videos, but it's like the real content. It's where we can actually focus on the topic. And we get into a lot more depth. We get into the receipts. We show the evidence of a lot of the stuff that tells the truth about what's really been going on with the fake culture war and the controlled opposition that is people like Nick Rekieta and people like, you know, the people in Comicsgate and also Eric July. We, in fact, we have a bunch of videos that are going up for the next several months that will be covering all of that, which some of it's late, but that's just because the schedule is one video every 5 days. And if we got enough donations, we would have we would up the schedule to one video every 3 days, and we'd be able to make more videos, and we'd be able to afford to focus on that more appropriately. That would be good. But again, people have to get the word out and help support us more and more. And so I do want to just say thanks again to the people who are supporting us. Very cool. And it's been extremely helpful. And again, you don't have to support through the Subscribestar. There are other ways. We have people who donate it to us just through PayPal. That's always cool. Very cool. Again. Where's the very cool one?
Whatever.
Oh, wait, no, that's not it.
Now?
Yeah.
This is epic.
Okay. So, again, thanks again for the people helping us out. You're helping to tell the truth. Become a human again and donate to us on Subscribestar if you want to know the truth. Don't donate to us on Subscribestar if you don't want to know the truth. But for everyone else who doesn't want to know the truth, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.